Right, so here's inside the Substance Painter. I'm gonna click new and then select my exported out geometry and just set it to default. Well, actually, I wanna work in a 4K because there's some painted stencil gonna be added as a layer, so I wanna have some certain amount of resolution, so 4K. And okay, then yeah, this is the mesh that I export out from Maya. So everything is merged, but they all have Udemy tiles, and then currently separated by the materials. So this is the core. So just rename it as gold, and this is supposed to be the metal armor, which is I just name it skill. And this one is leather, and this one's supposed to be the brass, which is the rivets, and then the buckle. Okay, so start with baking a mesh maps. So click, well, before I actually do, I want to import some resource first. So import resource, add resource, and what I want to import is of course the normal and then the ambient occlusion that I baked from the Mudbox. So just finish import them, and then it recognizes the UDIMs based on the material. So import other normals. Then I can plug them into each slots. So armor need to go to the normal map, and gold, or actually you can select them. Sure. Ambient occlusion can go to AO. Same for every other maps, other objects. Okay, so all imported, and start baking mesh maps. Click bake mesh maps, and then of course uncheck these two, and then ID as well, and start baking them. Up size, I don't want to make it too small, so maybe I go with maybe 1K or 2K. Maybe go 2K. I mean, I can still change it later, but still want to see some bit finer like contribution from these mesh maps. So this is just a personal preference. Maybe I can go with 1K and then update it later. So start baking. Okay, all complete. So click B to cycling through the those mesh maps. That's curvature and position and thickness. But there are some of them are black because they probably don't have thickness, and whatever the black has a thickness. So that's why some are black and some are white. They shouldn't be matter too much. So yeah, they are all looking fine. Okay, so start creating a basic material first. So click a fill layer, and at fill layer, let's go to properties, and then uncheck height and then normal. And I want to make it pretty bright as a base material, like slightly tinted, like yellow, maybe lightly, very lightly, something. almost fully metallic, like 0.95, and then roughness also be quite rough. I mean, quite shiny. 5. And it's like super bright, like almost chrome-like, but maybe I can lower it down a little bit. These values are not finer. I think it's likely changing as material stacking goes up, but just thinking about to make it something very nice and clean and shiny, and adding extra layer at a time so it can get more lustier. Right. So before I move on to the other layer, something that I want to point out is that these normals are not looking correct. Like this, it's supposed to be goes in, but it's actually kind of bumps out. So this is actually the project configuration. If it's not works for you, then you can change to check the compute tangent space per fragment, and then change to OpenGL, and it's like fixed, and then looking what it's supposed to be. So that's how you can fix. So I'll create another fill layer. Okay, and then uncheck the hidden normal again, and this time less bright, something like this, and less shinier basically. So 0.85 maybe. It was 0.2 and 9, so maybe 0.25 and 0.8. See, so this is what it looks like without any mask. So create a black mask and create another fill layer, and go to grunges. So you can go to procedures, and there's a bunch of texture. You can plug them into the grayscale section here, or grunges. Some of them are actually find them in both tag, but go to grunges, and then basically try to plug in the maps and see which maps works better than other. So I will try plug them in maybe a few maps and see which one looks better. I think this map Grunge Galvanic Large works better, so I can just use this for my break up the basic material. Well, by all means, it doesn't really matter which maps you're picking up, as long as they are looking good. So this is the maps, and this is the what this map contribute to this layer. And honestly, it's really hard to tell what's happening here. So any maps, it won't really changing like too much, or this kind of affects more area, but it's basically more or less. And then you can even like change the contrast or balance to adjust their intensities. So, and then what these maps, and then the maps that I just choose before earlier, are not like whole lot looking different. So just pick anything that looks better, then just go for it. Okay, so this is the first one. So second layer has just been added, and this was stain material B. And yeah, well, so this one was like this rather lighter color, and then I want to make it a bit darker. something like this, and then turn off and normal, hide and normal, and then make a metallic but less metallic than the previous one. Also, it's kind of shiny but less shinier than the previous one, so I can make some difference between each layers. Okay, and create another fill layer, and I'll just use the same grunge galvanic large and same scale maybe. And this time I will make a little bit rotated. Yeah, so this layer is doing this. It's a bit, maybe a bit too dark. Let's see. So click C to cycling through the each layer. I mean each or texture maps. So base color and roughness, metallic. So I only have three channels, which is base color and then the roughness and metallic. So the roughness, I think maybe it's a little bit, can be a bit lower. So maybe 0.3, 2. And the base color as well. Base color can be slightly brighter. Something like this. So I think looking okay, I think. So I will move on to the other layer. So click another fill layer. So this layer will be another stain material, but I think actually make rust. So I wanna make this layer, turn off this thing for now, and well, it's not really rust, but more like a little bit of rusty kind of feel. So a bit more reddish, and this time I don't go with metallic because, well, rust, well, I guess maybe a little bit. Rust shouldn't be too metallic compared to other layers, and make it very rough. Maybe almost 1, maybe 0.5. Right, and then another black mask. Okay, and then another fill layer. So well, this one I don't wanna make it too obvious. It may be adding some well, bit of a like effect, like darken effect here and there. So maybe choose something that very dark, like those. So I will try a few maps and see which one works better. Okay, so I think this one works okay, I guess. Yeah, so I will adjust some contrast a little bit. And check the other channels like base color and roughness, metallic, they all seems fine. Okay, so this one, maybe I will add a little bit of a height and normal, so very like little, just a touch. Okay, so another fill layer for another effect. Another fill layer, and then I'll name it as occlusion. So what I want to do here is to get some darken like tones in between these peaks. Yeah, so I can get some color variation. I'm gonna turn off the height and normal again, and just make it like black, and make it really rough, like almost 0.9. And then I think I can this as quite metallic as well. So yeah, it's like almost like black mats. So making black mask, and then this time I will adding a generator. So click generator, and then I will be using a mask editor. I mean, those masks are driven by those mesh maps, mostly driven by these curvatures, and then sometimes AO or like world position, etc. But so this is what it looks like. Basically, show some lighter color where it's more like outward, and darkening out when it's like getting tightened. So that's the coverage maps, and it's all driven by this mask editor. So I can change a curvature section here, which is right here, and I can increase some opacities to get more eye contrast, so more brighter, which comes like really dark. So those brighter area it reveals through these coverage maps here. Okay, so obviously this is not what I want. So if I open this section up, and I want to actually import this, so just click it to true, and it's become imported like this. So something like this, but well, obviously it's way too intense, right? So I want to actually plug in some texture maps, so we can get some filtered out. So cloud usually works well. And so I just plugged in the maps, and if I go to the texture section here, I can put two different maps if I need. I just plug into the one which is the first one, so which is corresponding to this first texture section here. So I need to increase a opacity to 1, and I can see this. So currently shows two maps together. It's kind of really hard to see, but if I go back to the texture section, and so just open this up, and then increase scale, something maybe like 10, and I can see some cloud pattern here. So this is what it looks like. and everything gets really dark. But I actually don't want to make another dark layer here just yet. I actually want to subtract from like black color here to this this cloud section. So set this blending mode to subtract. It's gonna basically minus this cloud alpha from the curvature maps. So this is what I got. And then from here, I can just play with the slider and see if which values kind of works better for me. Yeah, so just brightness and contrast. This is for the texture slider. So what I'm adjusting here is affecting the cloud map itself. It's really hard to see what's currently affecting, but I can just slide it up and down and then see what's the effect to the current map. So no need to, well, I guess like no need to see what's actually going on, but just see the overall feel and overall subtraction, and then like check in between the mask and then the actual shader look, and see if this is what it's supposed to be looks like. So I think this is not too bad. I will maybe adjust a few more value here and there, and then move on to another layer. Alright, create another layer, and this time will be similar to occlusion. Rather say more like dirt. So I wanna make some sort of a supported layer that I just made for occlusion. So currently occlusion kind of helps out to break up the color and then the like roughness and all that, but it seems a bit simple and a bit flat. So it would be great to have some extra value thing. So dirt, and turn off the height normal again. I'm not using height and normal because I already have a bunch of details in the sculpt paths. So I will maybe using those height and normal paths for maybe the stencil layer later, and then some maybe spotty like dense layer. Okay, so just like occlusion, create a really dark, almost black, maybe almost black, close to black, doesn't matter. And roughness and metallic also around like 0.5, 6. I mean, it's gonna be really dark anyways. And then, well, quite rough compared to the base material. So roughness and metallic, as long as it's not going to be too high, it should be fine. again, every value that I made like on the past layers are all well subjective to adjust it. Depends on how they look based on render layer. Okay, adding black mask and another generator, and then another mask editor. Okay, and so curvature, I will be probably just using the 0.5 for now, and then I want to import it. So this is what I got, and hold Alt and then click the mask area. So this is what the mask is going to look like. And this time actually I want to change more to the edges to a dual. So what it is it's gonna basically mix both on edges and the cavities. So edges will be like this, which is the default. Well, I'm currently imported a curvature, but whatever more like peak area will get masked out. And if I change to cavities, the mask is basically imported. So whatever more like smoother area, let's say, will get masked out. So if I click dual, it will actually take both. So the in-between area will be black in this case, which is white because I was turned the import on. So this is the current mask without any texture input. Okay, so material mode again. And it already kind of helps to adding some breakup in darker area. So I wanna plug in some textures to help out it break even further. So textures, and I can just plug and play from the grunges or alphas or grunges or procedures, but you can also pick and choose one of the maps from here. So I'm gonna choose the B and black and white spots. And now I have a map here. So texture opacity change to 1. Okay, and this is basically the curvature plus this texture. So well, obviously the default scale is way too large, so I want to change it, the scale to maybe a 5. Let's see. Should we find maybe 6? It doesn't really change much, but be a little bit too blurry. Right, it says okay, and I can actually change this input maps, the brightness and then the contrast under mask editor, and then texture input, and there's a balance and then contrast. So increase the balance up, which will make the texture brighter, and then contrast up to, well, make the contrast obviously more intense. So sometimes helps, sometimes not. This case I will be using a little bit. Okay, and go back to the texture section. And or I can also change the scale and contrast brightness here, but yeah, so that's what I've done. And then this is what it is going to look like. For those areas seems a bit, well, obviously a bit too dark. So I want to change the blending mode to maybe something like soft light, so it can kind of blend well. So I go back to the the mask, and change it to, well, linear dodge. So which is well, the default one, and then it's super bright. So I'll just change to the soft light, and it's gonna make things calm down a little bit. So yeah, it seems fine. And maybe I can try plugging other maps to break up even more. So texture secondary. This time I want to plug in some one of maps from the grunges. So grunges, maybe something dark. Grunge Big 30. Okay, let's see what it looks like. And I can maybe increase some contrast and the balance a little bit, just a touch. And then go back to the texture tool in this case. Or these are all optional really, so without or with those extra texture map, it will make a bit of a difference, but probably won't make a whole lot of difference. Yeah, so texture opacity 2. And scale to maybe 4. Yeah, so it kind of reduced the area that was covered before. So I want to change the something to soft light maybe. See what it looks like. Yeah, so it kind of makes a bit more variety in terms of the brightness, I think, which is good. So maybe change some scale even further. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. Turn off and on to compare with the previous current. Yeah, so maybe a little bit too contrasty. Maybe I can tone it down around to 70. Yeah. Then cycling through each channels, base color, and roughness, metallic. I think this area's metallic can get even lower, so I will be lowering down to something like 0.7, 0.6, and this one can go even lower, 3, something like this. It's a bit tricky to tell what's the right value for this kind of metallic, because in viewport everything is very reflective, so it's very hard to see. So I can really tell after I run actual renders. Yeah, but yeah, this is dark layer, so I'll be adding maybe a couple more extra layers to adding some like beach curve, like dent and scratches maybe.